Welcome to Enterprise Radio, the signature show of the Enterprise Podcast Network, featuring some of the most prominent business professionals in the world today. And now your host, Eric Dye.
Once again, this is Eric Dye, and welcome to Enterprise Radio, a part of EPN, the Enterprise Podcast Network. Today, we're joined by Vanitha Swaminathan, who is the Thomas Marshall Professor of Marketing and Director, Center for Branding at the University of Pittsburgh School of Business. She has worked on marketing and branding consulting projects with such companies as the Hershey Company, Kraft Heinz, StarKist, AC Nielsen, GlaxoSmithKline, and Procter & Gamble. Her recent book is Hyper-Digital Marketing, 6 Pillars of Strategic Brand Marketing in an AI-Powered World. And Vanitha, we thank you for joining us here today on Enterprise Radio.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you for having me on your show.
And you're certainly more than welcome. Such an honor and a pleasure to have you with us here today, Vanitha. So let's get started. Tell me, what exactly is hyper-digitalization, and how is it different from, say, the digital marketing we've been used to for so many years?
Yeah, thank you so much for asking that question. First of all, I used the term hyper-digitalization to refer to the current period in which AI is transforming how industries and companies operate. And this is happening in a world which has already been disrupted previously due to digital technologies. And many of the companies that are listening to this show might even remember that one pivot that was required when digital technologies became mainstream. And so now what I'm talking about is hyper-digitalization. And the term really draws in sort of inspiration from the term hyperintelligence, which was coined by an author by the name of Lovelock, which referred to an era in which there'll be new beings that emerge with existing artificial intelligence systems, and these will be capable of thinking 10,000 times faster than we as humans do. So I draw on this idea of hyperintelligence and talk about hyper-digitalization or hyper-intelligent products and services that are capable of thinking much faster than previous technologies where products and services were somewhat static entities. And so that's the origin of the term hyper-digitalization, and that's why the book is titled Hyper-Digital Marketing.
Certainly appreciate your explanation on that. Most helpful. And also, thanks for setting us straight there. Now, your framework has 6 pillars. Which one do most companies get wrong?
It's a great question. It's a little bit like choosing between your children. So it's a little difficult to select a pillar. But if I were to choose, I would highlight, there are 2 actually. I'll talk about platformization. This idea that traditional products and services, so you think about your standard laundry detergent or your standard dishwashing liquid, these are static products and services, but they can also be thought of as platforms. Now you might say, well, if you think about platforms, you're thinking about something that goes on an Apple App Store. But if you think about many static products and services, you can visualize them as platforms. So for example, when you're thinking about cleaning products, you can think about a platform that's dedicated to providing some tips on how to better clean your furniture. Or when you think about laundry detergent, you can think about a platform that's dedicated to advice or inspiration for those who are trying to get the best cleaning products to use on particular situations. And so when you think about it that way, the world around us can be transformed through AI-powered tools, and every static product or service can be thought of as a platform. And that's why I was excited to write that chapter, which is one of the 6 pillars in the 6-pillar framework.
Now, Vanitha, you also say brands are now competing with every experience rather than just their competitors. Explain what you mean by this.
Yeah. So another pillar that I point to is this concept of a phygital experience. I use the term phygital, which is a combination of 2 words. It's a compound word which is drawing from physical experiences and digital experiences. And so, again, when we think about our very static products and services, we don't really conceptualize those in terms of experiences. But really, when we utilize some of the newest tools or the newest technological tools, such as augmented reality or virtual reality, you can think about pretty much any product or service as an experience, something that consumers enjoy participating in, that have some of the experience components that you would typically associate with something like, let's say, a Disney a product. You can take elements of those experiences and make it available even to regular products and services. And so Phygital is another pillar of the 6-pillar framework. And I talk about how different technological tools can create these cool experiences for your customers.
Certainly appreciate your thoughts and feedback on that. Now, the data shows also micro influencers get twice the engagement of celebrities, and I find that to be interesting. So why do brands still pay millions for celebrity endorsements?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. I think it's a lot of legacy brands think about celebrity endorsers as being so popular that they can command these very large audiences. And so a traditional brand might say, okay, let's go ahead and hire a famous celebrity, let's say Matthew McConaughey, for the Lincoln car brand. Of course, I love Matthew McConaughey. He's awesome. But the celebrity influencers typically cost a lot of money. So if you think about an ROI on a celebrity endorsement campaign, it's probably a very high cost, and sort of it creates awareness, but it may or may not build engagement. Now, your micro influencers, these are small influencers who command smaller audiences. So typically to 25,000 to 250,000 followers on any social media platform. These micro influencers have greater sway over their audiences. They're able to build engagement with their audiences. They're relatively small, so they're focused on one or two topics. Now, what brands don't sometimes realize is these micro-influencers have much higher engagement rates than, let's say, these large celebrity influencers or mega influencers with millions of followers on social media. And so in some cases, brands have, in fact, caught on to the idea that micro-influencers are so influential, and they actually have a portfolio of these. And so we call that a big seed strategy, where they actually create a portfolio of that and advertise their brand through these micro influencers.
Really do appreciate your visit with us here today. We're speaking with Vanitha Swaminathan, who is the Thomas Marshall Professor of Marketing and Director, Center for Branding at the University of Pittsburgh School of Business. Her recent book is Hyper-Digital Marketing, 6 Pillars of Strategic Brand Marketing in an AI-Powered World. And once again, she's joined us here on Enterprise Radio, part of EPN, the Enterprise Podcast Network. Now, continuing on, Vanitha, you write extensively about AI in marketing. Where should a CMO start if they've done nothing with AI yet?
Yeah, it's a great question, Eric. I think the AI has been in the news every single day, and most of the news headlines, AI seems seen as this very threatening technology that's going to take jobs, etc. But I do think that there are some powerful benefits of deploying AI in the right way within your organization. The book certainly gets into a lot of detail about that. In my book, almost every one of the 6 pillars, I've identified specific AI tools that you can use to implement that. So what should a CMO think about? A CMO should really be thinking about a strategic plan for deploying AI within the organization, but also tactical ways in which AI can be deployed. So there's a lot of smaller tasks within organizations, productivity tasks, tasks that relate even to marketing tasks, such as content creation. How do you create a content schedule? How do you create that next blog post, which can be done quite effectively through AI. So that's at one level, is the tactical level where you can deploy AI to help you increase your productivity. But then there's also the strategic level, which requires deeper thinking, more thought as to how do you reorganize in order to facilitate AI-based processes to potentially take the place of more onerous, high-touch processes. But at the same time, a CMO should also be thinking about human AI collaboration. A lot of tasks can be done effectively by AI, but they also require some kind of human oversight. And so CMOs should be planning for that, to figure out how do you create these teams within the organization where some AI processes with some human oversight. So delivering on that human AI collaboration can help you get faster, get more productive, get more efficient with your processes. And they should also be thinking about how do you unite different silos within the organization. I've done a lot of interviews in conjunction with my book. And one of the key themes that emerged from my discussions with marketers everywhere is that silos often can work against a reorg, which is focused on these kinds of processes. And so, how do you break down those silos? How do you come together around a common view of the data, customer data in particular, so that you can, in fact, utilize that data and sort of deliver better value to your customers? So, those are some of the things the CMOs should be thinking of in the new year. And the other piece I wanted to highlight is I wanted to institute a 14-day AI challenge for small businesses, where we try to find ways where small businesses can implement these AI processes within their organizations. And so I'd be happy to talk to anyone who's interested in implementing some of those transformation, the 14-day transformation challenge in the new year. It's kind of leveraging this idea that people tend to do these weight loss sprints, like 14-day weight loss sprints in the new year. This is kind of going to be modeled after that idea, but except that it's going to be about transforming your organization.
Yeah, that's a great offer right there, and excellent details as well. Thanks so much. Now, what's the biggest mistake you see companies make with brand purpose right now?
I think there's so much of evolution on the technological side that brands may have gotten too caught up in the technology and forgotten the basics. And so purpose still remains a very critical first step for brands in this hyper digital age. Why is purpose so important? If you think about it, with all of the developments in AI, it's very easy for companies and brands now to travel to adjacent spaces or to try to extend their digital products into new categories. But what is really important is to remember that there is a purpose at the heart of it all. And so the purpose that you identify for your organization or your brand really should offer the framework for you to make decisions about how to advertise, where to advertise, what new products can I introduce under this brand name, what kind of extensions can I offer, et cetera, et cetera. So having that purpose is an important blueprint that continues to remain pretty important today.
Vanitha, just a couple more questions for you here. Tell me also, looking at social media, when a social media firestorm hits, what should a brand do in the first hour?
Fantastic question. Yes, you're absolutely right. We are actually living in an era where customers expect a response to any kind of query within 6 minutes. 6 minutes. I mean, you think about it, that's incredibly fast. So what should companies be thinking about? They should have a PR strategy. A lot of what brand management will be in this new era is managing your risk, because AI algorithms can take your brand and place it in different channels, place it in different contexts, which may or may not end up generating positive publicity for your brand. A company has to be prepared in this new era to fight social media firestorms ahead of time. And so having a PR strategy, ensuring that you monitor brand comments online, ensure that there are sufficient oversight of AI algorithms becomes very, very important.
Once again, Vanitha, awesome to have had you with us here today. Certainly an honor, and I'm sure our listeners have really enjoyed the details and insight shared per your expertise here today on this program. Of course, folks, we've been speaking with Vanitha Swaminathan. She is the author of the recent book, Hyper-Digital Marketing, 6 Pillars of Strategic Brand Marketing in an AI-Powered World. Before you go, and one last question, what's one thing our listeners could do tomorrow to immediately improve their digital marketing?
Great question, and thank you again for having me on the show. With the new year, everyone's making New Year's resolutions. So I would encourage anyone who doesn't have a lot of AI exposure to spend 30 minutes a day just playing with the tools. They're very easy. You can get very, very effective at utilizing these tools, and that will help you not only personally in terms of your personal productivity, but also your professional life. And there's always this saying that AI is going to take jobs, but really it's people who know AI that are going to take jobs from people who don't. And so I think in the new year, it's a great idea to just become familiar with as many tools, go beyond ChatGPT. There's a bunch of other tools, Claude, for example, and several others that you can start to utilize and play with and become good at.
Really do appreciate your closing remarks and advice as we conclude here today. And I'm sure listeners want to know where they can get more information on yourself online, as well as more information and or even pick up the book, Hyper-Digital Marketing.
All the online bookstores, Amazon sells it. It's called Hyper-Digital Marketing. It's also available in Barnes & Noble, almost every other. It's published by Springer Nature, so it's available on the Springer Nature website as well. So, and you will find me at, if you just type in my name at the University of Pittsburgh, there's a lot of information about upcoming one-day seminars that I'm offering in March and April to help companies that are interested in deploying some of these new pillars, which are AI-powered, into their organizations. So feel free to reach out if you have any questions about that.
And of course, listeners, as always, refer to the show notes of this broadcast for further information and links accordingly. Again, Vanitha, all the best and Happy New Year, and thanks for joining us here today on Enterprise Radio.
Thank you, Eric, and happy holidays.
And you too, happy holidays. Again, we've been speaking with Vanitha Swaminathan, who is the Thomas Marshall Professor of Marketing and Director, Center for Branding at the University of Pittsburgh School of Business. Her recent book is Hyper-Digital Marketing, 6 Pillars of Strategic Brand Marketing in an AI-Powered World. And for further details, visit profvanitha.com. Again, this is Eric Dye, and you've been listening to Enterprise Radio, a part of EPN, the Enterprise Podcast Network. Tune into our live location as we are streaming live 24/7 around the world at epodcastnetwork.com/live. You can also find our live stream on iTunes Radio and TuneIn Radio, as well as the TuneIn Radio app for your listening convenience. And as always, we thank you for your support and for tuning in.
Thanks for listening to Enterprise Radio. To subscribe to more of our programming, visit epodcastnetwork.com. This is the ePodcast Network.